Awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for all being willing participants in our social studio and advertising studio pilot. So my plan here today is to walk you through a little bit about what we've built, why we've built it, and then usually the way that we run these calls is we actually sort of pass presenter over to you guys. But since there's a large group of people on the call today, what I figured I would do is just run through the setup process from start to finish as much as I can. I'm in my demo environment to give you guys an idea of the steps that are involved on your side to go ahead and get up and running. Uh, um, and feel free, if you've got any questions, just shout them out. More than happy to, basically take this conversation wherever it needs to go to make it work for you guys as well. Uh, um, so what have we actually built here, and kind of why did we do it? So this project started, a little while ago, and we had a number of customers who were saying, "Oh, we need to do things with ads. We need to do things with ads," and we were like, "Okay, awesome. We've got some great advertising technology already in the company. Let's sit down and let's figure out, what it is that we need to provide in order to help you guys, integrate advertising into your publishing workflows." And we sat down and we started talking through all the different workflows, and we found that some people were working with agencies. They're basically just saying, "Oh, the agency just is going to handle everything. I just want to make it super easy to build content that my agency can use." So the first thing we did is we took that and we were like, "Okay, well, obviously we need to go and we need to get support for unpublished page posts, for dark posts, and natively scheduled Facebook posts into the tool, right? So that you can go, you can build content, it gets up on Facebook, it isn't visible until it's, either organically published or until it's turned into an ad, but it allowed people to sort of get content up on Facebook ahead of time and do their ad planning around that. And so that complete, we then sort of turned our attention to another set of customers who were like, "Well, I may be doing some stuff with an agency, but we've got budget on our side, and we're getting ready to take this on ourselves. What tools can you help me to really bring it in for me to do it myself, right?" And this was either in combination with an agency. Some people are doing it with just themselves. So I don't know where you guys fall along the line, but that was sort of the world that we came out, that we saw, coming out of those conversations. And so what this pilot represents is, a set of features geared towards, that second group of people. It works in conjunction with the dark post, unpublished page post stuff that we'd already done before, and that is in fact a critical part of this workflow. But it's really designed to say, hey, if you're just getting started with social ads, right, or you want to take over doing some simple things with social ads, how can we help make that super quick and easy to get that into the publishing workflows that you've already got? And how can we help you roll it out, across your organization, right, to make sure that, when you do start spending money, that you have a little bit of control over how people are actually spending that money. Uh, um, so at its simplest, what this is the ability to come into the Social Studio calendar, right? Click on any already published Facebook post. It could be a dark post, it could be an organic post, it can be a photo, a video, whatever. It just has to already be on Facebook and not be a Social Studio scheduled post, because those live on our server and Facebook knows nothing about them. So if you want to actually turn something into an ad, you gotta get it on Facebook, and be able to quickly inspect that. And then you can see right here we've got a new little promote post button, which brings up a very simple interface to quickly build an ad. And we've got some other things we've wrapped around it that I'll talk a little bit more later. Some safeguards built into the workspace and whatnot. But that's it at its heart. And when you look a little bit deeper, though, what this actually is an integration between two of the Marketing Cloud's studios, right? So we have Social Studio for going and building and publishing and listing engaging social content, and we have Advertising Studio, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It used to be called social.com. Now it's called Advertising Studio Campaigns. But it's a really big, full-featured, suite for building campaigns on Facebook, on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and so on. And building those ads and really, sort of managing them at scale. And when we sat down, we were like, okay, we know we want to build some ad stuff into Social Studio. We could have just rewritten it all in Social Studio directly. But one of our big roadmap focuses right now, actually, as the Marketing Cloud, is on integration, right? So it's made sense for us to sit down and figure out, hey, how can we start bringing Social Studio and Advertising Studio closer together? And that's really what this pilot here is representing, is the ability to get access to, a version of Ad Studio, and this is either, by default it comes for free, with a sort of Ad Studio Lite that comes with a lot of limited capabilities. You can also hook this thing up, actually, if you already have an Ad Studio, a social.com license, you can actually already hook up that full version that you've got to Social Studio if you just want to make things streamline your existing workflows a little bit. But the two are really designed to work together. And that's going to be an important concept to keep in mind as we walk through this, right? Because there are things that you will do in Social Studio UIs, and there are also things that you will do in Advertising Studio UIs, right? As we move forward. So what specific features are actually available in this pilot, right? So as I mentioned, it's the ability to come in and quickly promote any already published Facebook post, right? It can be an unpublished post, it can be natively scheduled on Facebook, it can be dark. Again, it can be a photo, it can be a link, it can be a video, it can be whatever. But the basic idea is that you can come in and you can quickly turn that piece of content into a page post ad optimized for engagement. Now, I don't know how familiar you guys all are with the different types of ads that Facebook offers, right? But there's like local awareness ads, there's page post ads, and there's a lot of different ways to optimize, right? You can optimize for clicks to a website. You can optimize for other particular conversions, for things like video views, and so on. What this pilot allows you to do is create one type of Facebook ad, which is the page post ad, and optimize it for engagement, right? Beyond that, you get a very simple form, figuring out, do you want to spend money on a lifetime basis, on a daily basis? What do you want to actually spend for the campaign? Give it start and end dates. We have some basic targeting in here for be able to go to country, city, state, or region, language, age, gender, and interest. Things that we do not support at this time, but will be building in the future, are support for things like US zip codes, Nielsen, DMA targeting, and the ability to use a Facebook custom audience. But that's not yet in the tool. We have controls built into the workspace where you can come in and you can say, make sure that nobody can ever spend more than X amount of money on a campaign, right? So this isn't a control to say, I've got this much money for a full month, let's count that, you can count that down, right? It's to say, when I'm using this form, let me come in and make sure that somebody can't accidentally spend $1,000 when they have to spend, $100. You have the ability to control which users have access to this on a user-by-user basis. So just simply enabling this feature won't automatically give everybody in your organization the ability to go and create ads and spend money. It's entirely within your control to roll out who gets it. And then we also have built, just like we have publish approval rules, for you to come in and say, hey, this person can or cannot publish a post. If I want this person to have this content approved, if it came from this person, if it came from this social account. We built the same functionality here for ads as well. So you can come in and you can say, based on a number of criteria that are relevant to an ad, whether this post requires approval or not. And we'll get into a little bit more detail on that when I show you how to actually build that stuff. But that at a high level is what's available right now in terms of a feature set in the pilot. Before I go ahead and show you how to actually get this set up, are there any questions on sort of what we're doing or what's currently available?
Just one quick question on the maximum budget. Can we leave this blank and not have a maximum budget allocated?
So right now the tool is actually going to require you to go in on a workspace by workspace basis and actually set something. You can set it as high as you want, but we were erring on the side of caution when we first built this, so it is actually going to require you to set something.
Okay.
And I'll show you, it's pretty easy to set it. I'll show you how you can do that in a second. Anybody else got a question? Nope. Awesome. All right. Well, let's move into actually showing how this works. So you guys have all been enabled, so you can, if you want to log into Social Studio, you can follow along with me. You should all have access to the feature now. Thank you for signing the terms. But the place that we're going to start is actually in the org admin. So you come in, go to the admin, and we will go to the organization settings section. And now that you guys have been enabled for this, you'll notice there's a new little checkbox here that says Ad Campaigns Powered by Ad Studio. To get started, you go ahead, you click this, and you get a couple of options. So as I mentioned, by default, this integration comes with a version of Ad Studio Lite, basically, right? It doesn't give you the ability to create campaigns from the Ad Studio interface and do a lot of the complex ad building. For that, you'll still need to have the full version of Ad Studio campaigns. But it does enable you to build the campaigns right from Social Studio. You also have the ability to come in and if you do have the full version of Ad Studio, you can contact the Ad Studio folks via support, and they'll give you a token that you can actually drop in right here. And you can connect up, your existing Social Studio and your existing advertising studio, and any campaigns that you create in Social Studio will just get dumped into Advertising Studio along with other stuff you've got running. For the purposes of today's demo, I'm just going to go ahead and say, hey, let's enable a light org. And then to do that, all you got to do is check this option in the radio buttons and hit Apply Changes. And what this is actually going to go ahead and do is spin up that Advertising Studio instance for you in the back end. So you don't have to reach out to support. You don't have to have any provisioning events or any other things happening. You can just control it yourself. And what that did is it created the Ad Studio org, and it actually created my first user in Advertising Studio. And it should have gone ahead and sent me a welcome email. So you'll get an email that looks a lot like this. I'm saying welcome to Advertising Campaigns, and you'll just need to click the link here to get started. It'll take you to a login screen where you can set a password, and you'll be able to get moving. Like I said, this is a integration between two different studios. So there are some points where you have to do some work in the Ad Studio UI, but for the most part, the day-to-day is actually built into Social Studio. So once you've gone ahead and done that and you've set up Advertising Studio, you get, this is the light interface here. So you can notice my campaigns are all blocked off, things like tracking, high-level reporting, like all that's not available. What I do get is the basic campaign screen here, which will show me all the campaigns that are running. But more importantly for you guys, this is all basically going to be zeroed out when you come in. So you need to go ahead and add your ad accounts. And the basic deal is you create and build content in Social Studio, you promote it in Social Studio, and you can see some basic metrics in Social Studio. But for managing your ad accounts, and if you want to start and stop campaigns, and if you want to get deeper metrics on the campaign, things like CPM, you do that in the Ad Studio interface. And in order to add your ad accounts, you come into the administration section, you click into Facebook accounts, and you will have up in the corner here a new button that says Authorize New Account. So you'll click that. This will give you instructions on specifically what you should do in terms of log out from Facebook. And then it'll walk you through the sort of standard Facebook authentication OAuth dance, which basically just says, hey, I want to give Salesforce permission to advertise on my behalf. It'll walk you through a number of steps. You click this button down here to get started. It'll go through the process, and then it'll redirect you back to your Facebook account section, where you should now be able to see the account in the list. And when you do go through and you do go to add an ad account, I'm sorry, I can't show you guys the full process of that today. Facebook has limited the number of ad accounts that I can personally make at this time. If I try to do anything else, they think I'm a spammer. So I can't walk you through that flow. But you do get the option to see all the ad accounts that you have access to, and you can select which ones you actually want to add to the tool. So you don't have to add in every ad account that you may have access to. in the world. We also recommend that in terms of setting up your ad account, you also go ahead in Facebook Business Manager and set up a project that connects that ad account to particular pages. It builds in a level of permission so that you've got a lot of social accounts and a lot of things going on in Social Studio that you can make sure that the right ad accounts are used with the right pages. If you come in and you take a look at your ad account, you'll see a synchronize button. It may take a little while for this to actually all load up properly. It'll show you that it's importing. But at any point, if things aren't quite looking right, or you're not seeing what you expect to see, you can always hit the synchronize button and it'll go and it'll pull the latest data. It'll give you the basic information about it, show you the ID, show you the name on Facebook. It'll actually allow you to customize the name as well. And then more importantly, it'll show you all the pages that were connected to that ad account down at the bottom. So these are all the ones that you can go and actually advertise on behalf of. And once you've done that, you don't really need to immediately do a whole lot in Ad Studio. You can swivel back over to Social Studio, and here's where you actually get going and actually building your ads. So I can come in, here's my calendar, I'm in Publish. I can click on an already published Facebook post. Here's an interesting link, and I say, hey, this is a cool post, I want to go ahead and I want to promote it. So I come in here, I click Promote, and I get my basic promotion form. And the first choice you get to make is which ad account you want to use. And I can say I want to go ahead and use this one. And what the system will actually do is we will go and we will scan for a relationship between this ad account and this page, right? So if we do not find on Facebook a relationship between these two things, this will actually show up orange, right? And we won't let you go ahead and build that ad. So you won't be able to accidentally spend money that you weren't intending, or the campaign most likely actually just won't error out on Facebook. But it gives you a little bit of control around how that works there. Then we have the Promote On box. So this will show you every social account that this piece of content went out to. So you can, when you compose a Facebook post in our system, send it to more than one Facebook page at a time. So if you did make a post to multiple pages, you would be able to come in here and say, hey, I either want to make a bunch of ads all at once and promote it across all the pages that I sent it to, or you'll be able to come in and select which pages you want and get down to just one if it's appropriate for you, or many if you'd like. You can get the option of setting the lifetime or daily budget. So if I want to spend $10 a day, or if I want to spend $10 total, I get that choice. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, I want to spend like $500. And I can set a start date for my campaign. I can go ahead and set the end date for, a week later. And then I can go in and I can apply my targeting, right? So I can come in, and Facebook requires at least one level of targeting. So if I type correctly, I can come and say I want to go and promote to the United States. I can then get the option to subdivide if I want to. And I can come in and I can say, I actually just want to see this for New York. In this case, let's just do New York, Florida, because that was there. I can come in, I can specify language if I wanted to. And I can also come in and select age, gender, and interest. So if I wanted to find all people who were in New York, Florida, who were interested in, kayaking, I could go and say, oh, actually, let's be more specific and do whitewater kayaking. And I can string together as many of these as I want. Facebook will go out and it'll figure out what my estimated total audience is, in which case this is 20 people. So it probably actually won't let me make this ad at the end of the day. But that's cool that there's at least 20 people in New York, Florida who are interested in whitewater kayaking. If I remove it, I'll probably get a bigger audience. There we go, we got 8,200. And then all I have to do in order to get this running is I can hit Promote Post, and we can, it'll send the ad to Facebook. Facebook will do its approval dance. And if your ad is approved, we'll send you a notification via email. We'll also send you a notification up in the little menu up here Let's see if I got one floating around. Doesn't look like it recently. To let you know what happened, right? And this is useful for, if you do this natively on Facebook, you'll get notifications as well, but you have to have done it. You have to have access to the business on Facebook, right? So if you do want to give people access to just create ads via Social Studio, they can do that here and get the notifications, from the system as well. So you can promote that. Let's, for fun, say 5,000 here. I can go ahead, I can promote the post, and you can see I got an error, right? So I got that the total budget amount was greater than the limit in the workspace, and the limit here was 50. Another important point that I glossed over is this currency is actually adaptive to whatever your ad account is. So when you set up your ad account, you put in your payment method, and you also tell it, where you are and what currency you want to use. So both this and the workspace budget are sort of built to be currency agnostic, right? But in this case, there has been a rule set up in this little demo tenant that says that I'm not allowed to spend more than $50 at a time. So I got to go in, I got to correct that, and I can go ahead and I can promote my post. Once that is done, sorry, was there a question?
Yeah, quick question just in regards to the targeting. Is there anything in the works to get access to like partner category data or pin drop targeting?
No. Our thinking basically here is that the targeting is going to remain very, very simple in what's available in Social Studio. But the full version of Advertising Studio has basically all the bells and whistles related to targeting that you might like to have.
Okay, thank you.
So once you've promoted your piece of content, you'll get a new little card in the inspector. It'll tell you all about what happened here. If you hit promote multiple times, you'll get multiple cards. The little drop down will pop up here, so you can explore each option. And it'll also tell you the current status, right? Is it pending? Is it live? Is it stopped? And is it running? Other important things to note here in the inspector are in the metrics card. You can come in and you can always see the paid reach and the organic reach and impressions and so on down here. So you get the really basic metrics on the ad and here as well. And that's that's the most basic flow for actually going and creating an ad in Social Studio. If you want to do things like set the max limit or handle approval rules, we go into the workspace. And we can go down here to the advertising section. And here's where you set that max budget, right? So by default, it's set to 0. So before you get started, you're actually going to have to go in. It's important that you come in and that you change this. And again, it can be, whatever works for your particular team. And it can be different on a workspace by workspace basis. So just to make people happy and not make the demo gods cranky, I will return that to normal. And the other thing that's worth noting in the workspace are the promotion rules. So I can come in, I can make a new promotion approval rule, just give it a name. And then the heart of the rule is saying, okay, what conditions do I want to build? What criteria, will trigger this rule? So I can say, okay, if it's a particular person, if it's Jared, I can come in and I can make sure I want to approve it. Okay, if it's Jared and he's using a particular ad account, I want to make sure that I approve it. I can also say if Jared is not using a particular ad account, that I want to make sure that that it doesn't go out as well. And then we also have the ability to do it on a social account basis. The Facebook getting language post label, but the most important one is probably saying the total budget. And you can control whatever number here. So if Jared's coming in and he's not using this ad account and he's spending more than $20, like I want to know about it, right? This, you can come down here and you can set an approver. And this has all the same sort of goodness that the publish approval rules have and be able to make multiple approvers and do all the advanced logic and how you want to chain all this together. So this is sort of another level of permissioning that you get to do around, around ad creation. And if it's something that you're going to roll out to more than one group, in your organization, this is definitely something that you should consider using here right now. Uh, um, once your campaigns are live, you can always come back into the Ad Studio UI over here and go into the campaigns interface, and you'll be able to start and stop them, compare them all in table view, and get into metrics like CPM and everything else if you really want to get nitty gritty with it. And you can export this as well and choose the different columns that you want to see and so on.
Can you edit anything in this screen, like campaign name?
No, this is basically the only thing you can do is start and stop it, and otherwise it's read only.
Okay. Is that possible to do through the Social Studio UI, or would we have to go to Power Editor to do that?
Yeah. So by default, the name is basically the page and the post that you are using here, and it will make one campaign, per post.
Okay. And if we wanted those names changed, is there any way to overrule that basic thing, or?
Not at this time, no.
Okay.
And I guess the last thing I'll show is how you actually enable functionality from where you yourself. So it involves a trip back to the admin, and you can come in, you can go look at the users, you can pick any user you would like, go in, we edit them, and I have a very similar checkbox to the first checkbox we saw, which says register user here, and it gives you the option to create this user as a standard user, an admin user, or if you do have a full version of social.com, you can hook up, just like you could hook up the existing org, you can also hook up an existing user here as well and map that to the Social Studio user. And you hit save, they'll get a welcome email, they can go through the full process, and then that button will be enabled in Social Studio for those users as well in any workspace that they choose. And that's pretty much the flow. Any questions?
Just one other quick question. Are we able to set up promotion while we're scheduling the posts initially?
Yeah, so that's something that we're super interested in doing, like the ability to come in. There's two features that we want to build around that, and the first is to add it right into the compose screen so that you could fill out the form and submit it all in one go. And we're also interested in building this into, I don't know, have you ever seen the publish macros at all?
No.
Yeah, so what macros allow you to come in and do is quickly make a lot of settings really fast. So for a little bit of like soft governance, if you want to make sure that people always put a particular label on or something like that, we want to extend that concept. I don't know, just pick one of these. This says DNTO glamping. This one ahead, you can see it added some labels. It may have added some link tracking and stuff like that. We want to do the same thing for advertising as well, so that you can give people profiles based off of targeting, and budget and stuff to simplify that down. But they're not available in the pilot right now.
Okay. Is there an idea of when that would be implemented?
Not at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions from anyone else?
Oh, sorry, I did have one more question. Is it possible through Social Studio to schedule the removal of an organic post from your page? So that when, like for example, we had an organic post, we promoted it, and then after that promotion, we wanted the post removed from our page entirely. Is that possible?
So Jared, my colleague Jared is on the phone.
Yeah.
Are you dialed in? You want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So we don't have that automated, but you can delete a post directly from the Social Studio UI once that time has passed.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, that'll be either available in the calendar or on list view. You can click into it either place.
Excellent. That's it from me, guys. I've actually got to go, but thanks very much for the call. It was very informative.
You're welcome. Any questions from anyone else?
No, that was great. Thank you.
Awesome. So you guys feel comfortable in terms of getting up and running on your own?
Yeah, I think
Anybody,
so. We'll give it a go. We'll log in and give it a go.
yeah, did anybody actually follow along with me? Okay, awesome. Well, if you have any problems, any questions, feel free to reach out to Veronica or to Laura, and we'll be glad to help you.